All right. Good afternoon or good morning if anyone is calling in from the West Coast. Thank you guys so much for joining us today. My name is Erin Schwartz, and I'm a marketing manager here at iHire. I'd like to welcome you to today's premium member webinar, Holiday Job Search Tips, How to Stay Active and Recharge for the New Year. In a moment, I'll turn it over to our speaker, Lori Cole, Customer Success Manager at iHire. Lori is a certified career advisor with over 20 years of experience in staffing and recruiting in the online world. At iHire, Lori directs the customer success team, the outplacement team, and the career advisor team. She's always looking for ways to make life easier for job seekers. We'll be answering attendee questions at the end of our presentation, but please feel free to submit questions at any time using the Q&A tool at the bottom of your screen. Plus, keep an eye out tomorrow for a follow-up email with a recording of today's webinar. So before we dive in, we'd actually like to start with a poll, which you will be seeing on your screen momentarily. So we wanted to get a pulse check on everyone going into the holiday season. How are you feeling right now about searching for a job? You can select more than one answer. If you're not sure, just check out the emojis, whichever facial expression you're making right now, pick the one that closely resembles that. And we'll have this open for about 40 seconds. All right, let's see those results. Very cool. So for those of you excited or hopeful, that is very exciting for us to hear because the holidays are actually a great time to look for a job. For those that are still feeling nervous and unsure, we're equally as excited to dive into this presentation to help you with your confidence about why the holidays are such a great time to be looking for a job. So with that, I will turn it over to Lori.
Thank you so much, Erin. So thank you everyone for joining us today. I'm so glad that you're here because companies do hire during the holidays. And with this year being like no other, we're excited to help you keep your job search momentum going while also encouraging you to take a little bit of time off to recharge and gear up for 2021. So the big question is, who is hiring right now? And are there any jobs out there beyond seasonal retail positions? And I'm happy to report that the answer is yes. In fact, on iHire's platform alone, we're seeing over 2.5 million total jobs across all 56 of our industry-focused communities. Over 1.2 million of those are full-time jobs, and over 34,000 of those are seasonal jobs. And the top hiring industries are transportation, nursing, technology, sales, retail, logistics, hospitality services, engineering, construction, and of course, accounting. And some of the most popular job titles are CDL truck driver. And that's because so many of us are shopping online right now, and we're getting all these deliveries to our homes. So somebody needs to move that freight. Registered nurses are also in high demand right now because of hospitals. Those nurses have just been working nonstop since the beginning of this pandemic, and they need some relief, and they need also extra help, people to help them in the nursing setting. Sales reps, warehouse operators, again, because of all the online shopping that's going on, software developers, customer service reps, long-haul truck drivers, home healthcare aides. And that's because a lot of insurance companies now are willing to pay for seniors to be taken care of in their homes instead of sending them off to long-term care facilities where the risk of COVID is greater. So the home healthcare industry is just booming. Wait staff, of course, and maintenance mechanics are another big one. And the sample companies that are hiring, a bunch of transportation companies like CR England, Amazon, again, online shopping, Dollar General. And I think that's because it's so super quick to run into a Dollar General for things instead of going into a big box store. CVS just heard on the news 2 nights ago that they're ramping up to give vaccines. So they're hiring a lot of people. Intuit, they're ramping up for tax season. And of course, some other Uber Eats, that's big. If you have the luxury of having an Uber Eats in your city, I'm jealous of that. And US Express. So now that we've seen some of the more encouraging trends, let's dive into 5 ways that you can find a new job during the holidays. So tip number 1, stand out by staying active. Companies in all industries during the holiday months hire for the same reasons they hire any other time of the year. Positions become unexpectedly open. They may have a change in business strategy that creates new roles, or they experience a growth period. When these positions become available, be the first to apply by staying active in your job search. Keep an eye on job alerts and make sure that your resume and your cover letters are ready to go. Don't automatically discard a temporary position either. For example, if you take on a short-term or temp role to cover for an employee's extended leave over the holidays, there may be a full-time position there for you if you really excel and you show value and that you can add value to that company. Don't stop searching and applying during the holidays. Use the fact that other people are assuming that it's a bad time for hiring to your advantage and take advantage of that. Tip number 2, use social events to network. So the majority of jobs are still found by networking. It's really an important piece of your job search that you need to pay attention to. Typically this time of the year, we have all kinds of gatherings. We have family reunions, family dinners, fundraisers, school events, and it keeps our calendar filled and busy from Thanksgiving to New Year's. But many of these occasions this year may be virtual, but you can still reap the benefits of connecting with your network and beyond. Catching up with old colleagues or family members you haven't seen in a while is a great opportunity to let them know that you're actively searching for a job. And remember, ask for connections. Ask people who they know, who might be looking for a good employee. Or you can also ask people for just advice and job search tips, things that have helped them in the past. I'm sure if they know of a job that they'll also tell you. Also, some of your connections might be in the same boat. They may be looking for a job as well. So it would behoove you to share recent jobs that you found with them and talk about what you're finding in the market, especially if it's the same location in the same industries, and really try to help each other and keep that person in mind as you're on the iHire site looking. You might find something you're not interested in, but you can refer somebody to that job, send it to them, and we make it super easy for you to share and do that. Tip number 3, send holiday cards. And I think that this is just a lost art. I know that I get less and less holiday cards every year, but it's a small gesture. But sending a handwritten note to really help cheer people up during the holidays, and sending those out to your network can really help your job search, even without you mentioning that you're looking for work. Using the holidays as an excuse to simply reach out will help keep your name top of mind and really revitalize connections that may have gone stale. Plus, small acts of kindness will really lift your spirits and their spirits. I can tell you, during the time that we've been working from home, I have received several handwritten notes unexpectedly from people, and it is just such a nice surprise, and it's just lovely. And then you want to return something, a nice little card or note to them too. So bring that back. Bring back the holiday cards. Tip number 4, schedule informational interviews. So some industries really slow down over the holidays, and that makes it the perfect time to ask to schedule informational interviews. And if you don't know what that is, an informational interview is a more informal meeting, and it enables you to learn more about a company, an industry, or a career path. So you simply just call someone up that you may know is performing that job and ask them if they can spend a little bit of time on the phone with you, or do a Zoom call or something that makes both of you feel comfortable. But it's just a real casual way to learn about these different industries and these different jobs and what's expected without it being this formal, intense interview situation. When you're in a position and something does come up, if you've done an informational interview with somebody and a position does come up in their company, then they'll remember meeting with you and hopefully do what they can to help you get your foot in the door. Tip number 5 is staying positive, and this is so important this time of the year. The cold weather and the long nights can really drag us down during these long winter months. So stay upbeat and positive as best you can when it comes to your job search. Keep track of your efforts. Try to set some goals and celebrate even the smallest wins when it comes to helping to motivate yourself. And don't give in to the myth that nobody is hiring. Here are some quick ways to recharge for the new year. While you're keeping your job search going during the holidays, also be intentional about taking time to recharge so you can really hit the ground running in January. And here are some things that you can try. Reflect on all that you've accomplished in the previous year. And I know that this year is like no other. It may be difficult if you haven't really been keeping track. So maybe set a goal for yourself to keep track in 2021. Sometimes we're often our worst enemy or worst critic. So focusing on how far you've come will really help you approach the new year with confidence and renewed energy. Volunteering for local organizations can also be a big motivational boost for you. It's easy to get wrapped up in your own challenges, but by helping others, we benefit ourselves and we're also benefiting the community. You might want to consider a staycation. So being a tourist in your own town, maybe you want to finish a project that you've been wanting to accomplish for a while. You could even try to enjoy the outdoors if the weather permits in your area, or create your own spa day. That's my favorite. So if traveling isn't really an option for you right now, you can still take time off of your daily routine and try to treat yourself a little bit. You can also try to learn something new. You can find a new hobby or skill to try to learn that interests you. And whatever it is, it doesn't have to have anything to do with your career or the job that you're looking for. It could just be something that interests you and you're curious about. And then another important thing is to get moving. It really helps to boost your mental and your physical health by working in at least some exercise during each day's schedule. And then if you do these things, don't forget to reward yourself. So did you meet your daily goal for job applications? If you did, treat yourself to your favorite carryout meal. Did you land an interview? Then take yourself shopping, even if it's virtual and online, for maybe a new shirt in your power color. Maybe you made 10 new connections during the day. Give yourself permission to binge watch a new television show. And with that, I will turn it back over to Erin for the recap.
Thanks, Lori. I need to find an online quiz to determine my power color. So just to recap, don't forget that companies do hire during the holidays. It could often be a common myth that things slow down, but for many companies, this is a really popular and great time for them to hire. Make sure you stand out as a candidate by being active. A lot of candidates put a pause on their job search during this time, so it's just one more way to make you stand out from the crowd. Consider temporary positions. You never know what will come of them. Leverage all of your social events to network. Even send holiday cards to revive some of your network. It's sometimes just these really basic touches that, again, could really make you stand out. Schedule informational interviews. And then no matter what happens, remember to stay positive. And then at the end, don't forget to take time to recharge for the new year. All right, and with that, we have one more poll to share with you. So from all of the suggestions you heard today, we're interested in if you had to choose one thing you plan to add to your current job search strategy, what would it be? And we'll give it about another 20, 30 seconds. All right, let's go ahead and share those. All right, looks like our top tip is scheduling information interviews. Very cool. Oh, yeah. If you guys ever have a question about how to get started, one resource that's always available to you is your iHire Career Advisor. So feel free to go ahead and schedule a call with any assistance or questions you have. But of course, we will be happy to answer any questions right now during the webinar, which segues us right into the Q&A. So thanks to everyone who submitted questions. If any other questions come up, please feel free to continue to submit them using that Q&A tool at the bottom of your screen. All right, Lori. When it comes to applying for jobs, does it really matter if I'm the first?
I don't think you have to be the first to apply, but it is good to be in the first group of people to apply. If you see a brand new job come through, apply to that job as soon as you can, and just make sure that you're changing your resume using our iScore tool. But the other thing to think about is don't be afraid to apply to jobs that you see that are over 30 days old. A lot of our employers have positions that they call evergreen positions. So an evergreen position is a job where they're constantly looking for somebody for that role. So they just keep that job up. And they may have posted it last year, but they're still looking for people for that position. So if you see something that's over 30 days old, don't be afraid to apply to that too, if you feel like you're a good fit for it. But yeah, being the first, it's not necessary, but being in that first group is helpful.
Here's a very relevant question. How do I address the fact if I've lost my job due to COVID?
Oh, well, employers are understanding that right now. I mean, they've had to lay off people this year and bring them back. It's been just a real roller coaster of a year. So there's probably no need to elaborate or give a lot of details. If you tell a prospective employer that you were laid off due to COVID, they get it, they understand, and there probably won't be much discussion about it.
Great. I already feel like I'm doing so much between editing cover letters, tracking new jobs, and researching companies to prep for interviews. Which of these tips would you recommend most to someone who has limited time?
when I'm talking to our career advisor candidates, the thing that I always encourage people to do is to focus on changing your resume for each job that you're applying to. I think that's the most important thing that you could focus on. Um, you should be changing your resume headline to the exact title of the job that you're applying for. And what that does is helps recruiters to instantly recognize the job you're applying for. It's not forcing them to connect the dots in the background and say, look at the resume and say, well, what is this person? What have they done? What are they really looking for? If you use the exact job title at the top of your resume, they instantly put that together and say, oh, okay, this is what this person is applying for. And also, the other thing that you should be changing is the skills area on your resume. Um, our iScore tool makes it really easy for you to do that. It gives you keyword suggestions. It compares the keywords in the job description to the keywords in your resume, and it'll give you a score. And it'll tell you which keywords that you need to change in your skills section of the resume. So I'm not suggesting that you completely rewrite your resume for every job, but if you're making the small tweaks on the headline of your resume and also in the skills area of your resume, it might make the difference between you getting through that applicant tracking system versus you just going into the black hole because you didn't score high enough.
Thank you. All right. It looks like that is all the questions that we got today. Would you mind advancing one more slide?
Sure.
All right. Thanks again so much, everyone. If any other questions come to mind, though, you can always reach out to Lori or our customer success team, and they will get you connected with the right person to help you with your question. You can always reach out to customer success by emailing customersuccess@ihire.com. We'll be sending out an email tomorrow with a link to a recording of the webinar, and then keep an eye out in early January for a reminder email of our January webinar. Thanks again, everyone. Have a great day.
Thank you.